Hey, good morning. This is the LFGRX podcast, and I'm your host, Trevor Hall, being joined by Exponent Edge's Jay Benoit. And Jay, thank you for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Glad to be on your podcast today and tell people a little bit about Exponent Edge, answer some questions that you have, maybe some questions that others may be thinking and regarding starting a business, maybe what I've done before this and am still doing. And all those things I think would be great to share with people because I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And one of the things I'd love to do is just help people understand what it takes, what it's like being an entrepreneur and all the challenges and blessings that come from being able to start a business, run a business, and just see something that you have a passion for come to life. Even though that coming to life can take a lot longer than you think, but when all is said and done, a lot of things to be proud of when you're able to start and grow a company. So excited to do that. And just one real quick thing: last name is Benoit. So
Benoit,
yeah,
Benoit.
I'm half French, so Benoit is the way to go. But
That's
across
great.
conversations, I hear Benoit and Benoit all the time. So
Yeah, yeah, we get Gorks every once in a while too. Instead of GoRX,
nice,
we get Gorks. So it's
nice.
we're every so often uh, we're every so often correcting people on that. But that's great. Let's hear kind of how you started out and what brought you to creating Exponent Edge and getting into this fitness business.
Yeah, so I would say call it completely an accident of starting this business. But to believe it or not, I've actually been in the home gym space for a long time. I actually owned my first gym equipment when I was 12 years old. Uh, the old classic wider weightlifting set, barbell
Yeah.
dumbbells, and believe it or not, I also owned the Hulk Hogan set with the colored dumbbells back in the day, man, 11, 12 years old, hitting it up with all those
Nice.
types of things. And like lifting at home and weightlifting from 11 and 12 years old, main purpose was to get better at football and sports, has
Hmm.
never left me. And I'm now 45 years old. I still have a home gym, and I've been through different home gym iterations throughout that 30-year process. Believe it or not, when I was about 24, 25 years old, I've exclusively lifted at home outside of travel for work. So,
Okay.
from a home gym perspective, I've been in one my whole entire life, long before they were cool or a fad. And fad's the wrong word, until they're like a hobby today, right?
Yeah.
It's a hobby for me, and always changing, painting my home gym, bringing new stuff in. So, from a home gym perspective, been in it for a long time. Now, as far as starting Exponent Edge, I've always been in a home gym where I've been in a third stall garage or in a basement room. So lots of things I've had to do to manipulate using the best equipment possible, taking advantage of the space that I had. And
Hmm.
I'd say the thing that kicked it all off was back in 2000 and say 17-ish, 16, 17. One of the things I could not perform in my home gym was doing some really good Nordic curls. So I
Okay.
started
Yeah.
to jimmy up a barbell with 45 pound plates on it, put it behind my rack, and then started doing some Nordic curls that way. And I just thought there had to be a better way
Hmm.
than going out and buying a traditional like GHD, one from a price perspective, two from the amount of space that it took up.
Yeah.
I
Space
didn't have
perspective.
that room in my in my third stall garage. So I was like, somebody's got to be making something that can mount to the wall and perform Nordic curls that way. And then at that time, there just wasn't anything. So I started making my own product, which was what I call today the wall mounted glute ham developer. It's really a device that I use to focus on doing Nordic curls and things like Bulgarian split squats, lunges, some crunches, Copenhagen planks, a bunch of other exercises
Yeah.
that I can perform on that device. And that's really how it started. Lucky for me, I live in Charlotte. I lived in the neighborhood where I had lots of welders and NASCAR, so I was able to get some prototypes and things put together for me to just first off start using the device on my own in my own home
Mhm.
gym to do Nordic curls. Didn't really have this desire at the time to start my own business, start manufacturing my own equipment.
Yeah.
After about 6 months or so, I decided let me take a next step. I worked with an auto parts manufacturer, Earnhardt Technologies Group, down here locally in Charlotte. and they
Hmm.
were able to start putting together some prototypes for me. So call it 5 versions later, and I had what I have today, which is my very first product that I started selling, which is the wall-mounted glue hand developer. If you check it out on my website or on my social, you can see some videos of it. But I've made other iterations of a rack-mounted version today, and that just spurred me coming up with a bunch of other ideas for new pieces of equipment, better ways to train in your home gym, especially where my focus is usually around trying to make it so you can perform these exercises in confined spaces. You
Hmm.
can't see it all
Yep.
right now, but my home gym is 180 square feet. It's the smallest
Wow.
home gym I've had since I was in my mid 20s. My first gym was a basement that was probably around 400 square feet, and I had everything in there. So, but been downsizing, and I can still do actually more than I could with that home gym with 400 square feet and this small 180 square feet space I have today. And so the vision just became trying to make it so people can improve their health at home, make it so they can perform all their favorite exercises they're used to doing in their traditional gym at home, and
Yeah.
finding some clever ways to use some new equipment and bring
Mhm.
some new things to life. So that's the
Very
start of
nice.
it.
That's awesome. What kind of spurred the thought of from creating your own wall-mounted GHD to then deciding, hey, I'm going to create more of these to sell. What kind of spurred that action? Did you have people testing it out or commenting on Instagram, like saying, hi, hey, can I get one of those? But what kind of pushed you to that leap of actually trying to sell an object?
I think it was more about people coming to my gym and just seeing the piece of equipment and saying, "Hey, you should probably consider selling that piece of equipment." And really, it was commentary around that got me to decide to go further.
Okay.
And because yeah, I mean, my whole life I've been in the insurance industry. It's gotten me to a great place. I still do it today.
Hmm.
My full passion is in exercise and fitness.
Okay.
Certified personal trainer. I don't really practice it today. I don't have time. Was a certified nutrition coach as well. Don't practice it with any current clients, mainly just because of my current job and trying to grow my exercise equipment business. So I don't really have
Yeah.
time for all of that.
Yeah.
My wife is a physical therapist, so we have health and wellness is just ingrained
Yeah.
in our household. So
That's
I
great.
just want to stay enriched in it, yeah, and absolutely keep doing it. So it's really, other people talking about the piece of equipment that I made. Uh, I would work out with my garage doors open over summer. People would be able to check out everything
Hmm.
I had in it in the neighborhood. So that
Yeah.
was probably what spurred it on in the very beginning, anyways.
Hmm.
Now it's desire to build a business, outfit an entire home gym, and stuff like that. That keeps the fire going, the passion alive.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, I mean, how many products do you have right now in your kind of Exponent Edge suite?
I would say right now I'm selling 8 different products.
Okay.
The inaugural piece again was the wall-mounted glue ham developer,
Hmm.
and then shortly thereafter I developed my rack-mounted version, which
Yep.
you can complete all the same exercises on it. Attaches to a
Hmm.
rack. It's made to fit all different rack variations between 3x3, 2x3, 2x2, etc.
Yep.
And now that's expanded to, you can see a little bit behind me, everybody makes their own barbell. I have my own as
Yep.
well, but mine's more focused on power building. I'm a bodybuilder at heart.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so I don't really do a whole lot of, CrossFit moves. I focus
Hmm.
on bodybuilding. So I don't really care about PRs on, 600-pound deadlifts.
Yeah.
I usually focus on a higher rep range. So that bar was made specifically for bodybuilding movements,
Okay.
still having a really good grip and being able to perform high rep ranges without tearing my hands apart. Even though I got hands like a girl when it comes to grabbing a barbell, man, they get destroyed. I've got a 46 and 49-inch rackable, what I call a curl bar.
Okay.
I had an easy bar for a long time. I didn't use it just because I didn't like the width grips on it. I guess they're just
Mm.
not ideal for my
Yeah.
build. So I just created a bar for me that is optimal from a shoulder width grip, but I can still do wide and close grip grips on it. That you see that over here. I could just turn this just a little bit for you, and you can see
Oh, yeah. There you go.
there's a kettlebell holder over there. So I have multiple
Nice.
kettlebells. I was looking for something to get them off my darn floor, get in the
Yeah.
way of my
I need one of
workouts.
those.
So that can hold up to like 10 kettlebells. I've got some bumper plates. They're prototypes coming along, so those aren't really selling today. You can see
Nice.
behind me, this is a what I call a dumbbell holder. It holds, I don't have a lot of hex dumbbells, but I do have some. But it also
Okay.
holds my Thor kettlebells. So they're perfect for holding Thor kettlebells from
Yeah.
Tribe, if you know them. Uh,
Yeah.
I got my landmine jack. This is one of my top sellers right here. This is just for landmine exercises. It's great. Just gets the bar off the ground for loading, unloading, drop sets, supersets. Because I like doing a lot of landmine work.
Yeah.
Uh, Yep.
Nice.
And then, yeah, so lots of other things will be coming down the pike too. If you follow me on social, sometimes I do a little sneak peeks of some stuff, or you might catch a glimpse of something in the background that I haven't shared much on that I'm working on. So those are a
Yeah.
lot of the things that I'm selling today in my Infinity arm, which is also right here. This is one that's, let me see if I can get it all the way over for you. You just got to scooch it down a little bit right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I
Yeah.
saw in one of your recent reels you were using that Infinity Arm, and
Yeah, I've been
yeah,
doing
look,
a lot of reels lately on that device. Really, it is honestly the most versatile piece of equipment I have in the whole gym.
that's awesome.
I've probably performed 40 to 50 different exercises on it, and there's still more to go. So those are the
Wow.
things that I am working on today. I've got a lot of other items in the works. I really can't share a whole lot about them right now because I need to protect myself. But I've got
Yeah,
a
of
lot of
course.
things going on in the background. And if anybody here is going to Home Gym Con or interested in it, I am hopeful I'll be able to share at least two of those things at that event to bring
Nice.
to show some new stuff coming along. So things got to work out as far as design and manufacturing perspective, but I am hopeful that some of those things will be able to be there, and it'd be pretty cool to be able to launch something at that event.
Yeah, that would be exciting.
Yeah.
Did you make it to Home Gym Con last year?
No, so
No.
last year I found out about Home Gym Con probably maybe about 2 months before it was taking place,
Yeah.
and at the time it was just short notice with me having
Mhm.
my regular job, so it was really tough for me to kind of bolt and get out of that thing and prepare for it.
Yep.
Even if I was going to go low key, right, it was still going to
Yeah.
be a difficult thing to do. But I'm going this year, already booked. I'm really looking forward to the event. It's going to be a good
Nice.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. I can't wait. Last year was a really good experience, and I mean was just immensely valuable from like being able to make friendships and relationships with some of these other industry individuals and stuff like that. But even then, this year is going to be epic. I think that the amount of vendors that are there and the amount of people that have already purchased tickets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I can't wait to get out there and mix it up. Um, yeah, cool. So let's see. From Exponent Edge, what are some things that you've kind of learned along the way when it comes to trying to work out of your garage and build a business, even just at home? What are some things that you did right, some things that you did wrong, kind of in the beginning?
Uh, wow, man, if we're going to talk about things you did wrong, just like any other entrepreneur out there, I would probably tell you that list is extensive
Yeah,
as far
ever
as things that
growing,
go wrong.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll probably make another mistake tomorrow.
Yep.
This is kind of like how it all rolls. But I think one of the things that I did right from the onset was finding the right people for me to work with. So I am not an engineer. I love to draw. I love to be creative and come up with new ideas. However,
Yep.
putting those things to life in CAD, I am not capable of doing that. So, I got a really good relationship with, believe it or not, a neighbor who is an engineer for Rubbermaid. So he is
Okay.
really like I'm the idea guy. He's the guts, man. He's the one that is able to take all these drawings and ideas and bring them all to life. He'll come down, he'll come up to my gym. I'll show him a picture, kind of show him what I'm looking to have accomplished, and then he'll
Hmm.
take that drawing and put it into CAD so we can, try to work through things and see how we can engineer a product that will end up working for people in their home gym space. So I really think it's important to get good relationships in the
Yeah.
beginning. So whether that's a relationship with something that you're not good at, like maybe you're an engineer, but you're not great at creative ideas. Maybe you can work with somebody that can help you come up with some new ideas.
Yep.
whether that's exercise equipment or whatever. So I think getting the right people to work with you is great. I also think as an entrepreneur, we're always taking a lot of risk. So I think
Hmm.
it's important that you have people in your life that are supportive of
Yep.
taking risks, because it's not easy. It's going to be hard. There's going to be battles every single day where, like the life of an entrepreneur is, you have that day where, man, sales are going, it's great, you're on this high, and then next thing you know, you have 2 days in a row where you're like, I didn't sell anything. What am I doing wrong, right?
Yeah.
So you're not
Yeah.
necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just that's the way the market goes. So having those people that are there to support you, I would say, is also something very important in the beginning. And
Yeah.
don't let little hiccups kind of like make you stop, right?
Hmm.
And I can't tell you that I've never had that thought, because for doing this for 5 or 6 years, and it was a very long process to get some of these things going, that I think all of us at some point in time can have that feeling of it just doesn't feel like it's going right, that things are taking a lot longer than you think that they should be going. And, you just got to be able to keep plugging along. It's like working out, you know,
Yeah.
uh, if you're always worried or expecting to have motivation being the thing that drives you into working out that day, then you're
Hmm.
probably going to fail a lot more often than you want to be, and realize you're not getting to where you want to be. So it's really got to be about the dedication, that no matter how great or how difficult things may be one day, that you still just plug along and, chug forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Embrace the diligence aspect of this instead of the necessarily the
Yeah.
motivation, because some days that motivation just won't be there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that story. Um, yeah, what are some things? What are some things that you did wrong? I mean, some of the things that stand out the most, I guess, that you did wrong,
Ooh,
and you went, "Oh man, that was
wrong.
a mistake."
Say stand out. I also don't manufacture the product in my own home, right? So
Hmm.
I think some of the things that I would also say, some things I've gotten right has been communication with people, for customers,
Okay.
when they've made a purchase on a product. Now, I bring that up as a positive, because when comes to manufacturing or say shipping a product, there are many times where the manufacturing ends up taking longer than originally estimated,
Hmm.
or the shipping takes longer than originally estimated.
Yeah.
So I say communication was strong in telling my customers that there's been delays,
Yeah.
but that's some of the biggest challenges have been doing your absolute best to estimate manufacturing timeline especially when you're working with your manufacturer. I mean, they're going to give you dates, but you never know what things can kind of pop up in the way. And same thing from shipping, that those same things can come into play, where originally estimating a product to somebody on a specific date, now it's 3 weeks later. So
Yeah.
um, those have certainly been challenges, and they're going to probably continue to be challenges. But over time, I think it's something that you can definitely get better at, on
Mhm.
estimating. Whether that's someone gives you a date and you just say, "All right, you're giving me a date. I'm going to add 2 weeks onto that thing, just to play it safe." So those have been some things that have been some significant challenges. I would say there's probably some times on product design on a jump to the gun, as far
Mm.
as trying to get prototypes too soon. So you've got a design that you're working through, and you get that design back in your hand. You're like, I'm ready to go. Let's get some prototypes. You get prototypes in your hand, and then you just realize that you missed some details
Yeah.
uh, on your first go around that you probably should have noticed the first time. So what that does is it can cause the product that you got in for a prototype to not work the way that you really wanted to.
Mhm.
It can also delay a product coming out, because now you've got to make revisions and get a whole new prototype. And you're talking, in many cases, if you don't manufacture it on your own, it could be potentially months before you
Yeah.
can revisit that design that you had. So I think those are probably some things that I have definitely learned. I think also, trying to find some people in your corner from either like a consultant perspective or other people in the industry that have done the same thing as you, trying to
Hmm.
line up as many of those as possible versus trying to do all on your own.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's something else I would say was, I don't want to necessarily say a mistake because it wasn't something I knew was a mistake until I realized that I needed some of those relationships to help me along the way. But I definitely learned those throughout this entire process. So
Yeah.
crossing T's, dotting I's, double checking, triple checking is definitely something that I would say were mistakes in the beginning that have definitely gotten better at. Haven't solved them completely, but definitely getting better at this point in time.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, so let's see. When did you kind of feel like you knew this business was starting to take off? Was it kind of right from the get go when you sold that first product, or did things kind of just lull out a little bit and you just grinded through until it finally hit kind of an inflection point?
It was definitely not immediate. So
Yeah.
with my first product, it was really just a let's see how this kind of goes. I would say once I started to create some new ideas for other products, I think I got to the point of maybe I'm onto something,
Yeah.
right? So this might be something, and then when you start to market a product and you start generating sales that go beyond what you thought you were capable of doing, I think
Hmm.
that's when I started to realize that I'm starting to build something.
Yeah.
I think we'd all love to do 10 million in sales immediately right out the gate, but that is definitely unrealistic. But I think right, and that's unless you're in tech or something like that, and maybe you can
Yeah.
probably pull that off pretty quick. But for exercise equipment, there's a lot of good companies out there. There's a lot of companies that
Hmm.
are trying to be innovative and
Yep.
do a lot of the same things that you are. So
Yeah.
it's a crowded space like anywhere else. But if you can be innovative and create some new stuff that other people aren't doing, I think that you definitely have a viable opportunity to start building a business. And I think that's when I kind of learned is once I was about 3 or 4 products deep and then started to have this laundry list of about 70 products I want to eventually get to. That's kind of when I got to the point like, okay, I think I'm onto something. And, eventually this will be, eventually my passion will turn into something I can do all day, every day for the foreseeable future. That day's not yet,
Yeah.
but sometime down the line, I think it will be. But it
Nice.
wasn't definitely wasn't immediate, and I would say there's always hills and valleys of feeling like you know you're there, and then days you feel like I'm not there, got more to do. But I think that's going to be a process that pretty much lasts forever. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So are you still currently working in the insurance industry as well as
I
doing
am.
this, kind of balancing both of those?
Yeah, balancing both of those. So, I still have a commitment to my regular employment, which
Mhm.
you say the word insurance, and people just think it's the most boring thing in the world. But believe it or not, I get to work and with some large businesses and
Yeah.
see what their operations are like. So there's some unique and fun stuff to the business, even though insurance gets a pretty boring attachment to it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's gotten me to where I am today, and there's certainly things that and being employed in the insurance industry from a professional perspective that helps me even in my role as being a CEO and founder of this business, even though it has nothing to do with
Mhm.
exercise equipment, just as far as being able to handle relationships, get partnerships, and be able to work with people well. So I think there's definitely some carryover that helps me today. So
Yeah.
glad that to be honest, I am blessed that I'm able to do both. Right,
Yeah. That's
because if
great.
I had to drop everything for Exponent Edge on a business that may not be able to pay for absolutely everything I need for my family at this point in time, that would
Hmm.
be a difficult thing. So right now, I'm
Yeah.
definitely blessed to be able to that I'm capable and able to do both things.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. You had mentioned insurance and kind of being boring or whatever and whatnot, but we had a conversation with Vaughn Vernon. He owns Affiliate Guard, the insurance company Affiliate Guard, and they do a lot of fitness, fitness clubs and insurance for fitness clubs and different gyms and stuff like that, CrossFit boxes. And it was a really captivating conversation that we got to have with him because he just had a lot of really good insight when it came to kind of insurance and just the different things to think about when it comes to the some of the risks that are out there and how to mitigate that. So it was really
Yeah.
good. It was a really good conversation. Um, So yeah, even stuff like that, when you talk about mitigating risk, people
Yeah.
probably roll their eyes and go, "Oh, this is going to be boring." But
Uh,
you can find some riveting subjects in basically anything.
yeah, if somebody has like a full-fledged warehouse or manufacturing facility, you definitely want to do some things to kind of mitigate risk. Because believe it
Mhm.
or not, when you're starting your business and maybe you finally get to the point where you need your own warehouse to store goods, even if you're not manufacturing on your own, you just want to store some stuff, be able to ship it out. Believe it or not, um, certain losses could definitely have a very negative impact, whether it's from a reputational perspective or even be a case that ends up attacking your company assets. Really,
Yeah,
what that means is attacking the money you have in your business to sustain yourself. All of that can be attacked for uh, not taking proper precaution for risk and stuff like that. And I know it sounds really boring right now, but like you want to make sure that you're definitely taking steps to make
hmm
facilities as safe as possible, because you definitely don't want something like a work comp loss or general liability loss to be something that causes you to you know take company assets and put it
yeah,
elsewhere outside of growing your business. So
yep,
yeah.
yeah, and it slows you down. I mean, it
Yeah.
forces you to focus on that instead of focusing on growing your business and being able to continue it in a successful manner. Yeah, um, that's great. Yeah, let's see what do you think you have in store with Exponent Edge over the next three years? I know that things change so rapidly; it's hard to even
Yeah.
think of what Exponent Edge will be in 3 years. But yeah, what do you foresee for your future when it comes to what you can offer and kind of what you're hoping to get out of Exponent Edge?
Yeah. So I love that question just because I never expected this business to be kind of where I am today.
Mhm.
I've only launched for a year. I haven't even been selling equipment for a year yet.
Yeah.
So I'm still in my very early stages. It's been fun. It's been great. But I'm still an infant when it comes to an operating company. Now, you probably notice a lot of my stuff that I've created so far has been more unique, more niche,
hmm
accessory type stuff at this point in time. And I'm
Yep.
certainly going to be continuing on that path to make sure I'm creating some things that are very unique. Uh,
Yep.
that I would say, if you were to ask me 3 years from now how that looks, I would say I'm probably doing 50% unique stuff, 50% stuff that everybody buys today. So, for example, I have a rack, two prototypes sitting in my home gym right now that are about 90% of the way of where they needed to be, and the new prototypes are coming in, right? So those new prototypes will be something I'm going to sell in a rack.
Yeah.
For the most part, isn't going to be all that much different than what anybody else has. Now, there's some unique stuff to mine. Just I'd say minor little tweaks to it. Nothing major. Some minor tweaks that
Yeah.
for me in my home gym with smaller space that I wanted to be able to have done to them, so that when they work
hmm
out, you'll see those things down the line on what they look differently. Same thing with bumper plates or a bench. Although I've got a bench that's going to have some pretty unique stuff to it that you don't see today, but we'll wait for that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. You hinted at that the other day when we were
Yeah,
talking, and
yeah. It's
yeah,
so
I'm
it's
very
already
excited.
patent pending. It's already patent pending, so that's already been filed. It's just a matter
Nice.
of making. I had my first version already. Just had to make some minor adjustments to it, so the new one will come in, and hopefully that new one comes in and it's like either 95% or 100% on point, and then we can
Yeah.
start to bring that out. So what you'll see from me down the road is continue to finding ways to bring some unique products. I've got
hmm
two other prototypes coming in that are very unique and can definitely expand on some stuff you can do at home that no one's doing today. So,
That's exciting.
uh, so more innovation, new stuff coming your way, but at the same time, I want to be able to help people outfit their entire home gym in a confined space.
hmm
So you'll see me bringing out, things that people buy today from other manufacturers, like racks and bumper plates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You'll start to see me do some of those things as well. But I wanted to start by having unique products, and that's what I did, at least from the onset. And I'll continue to bring some new stuff, innovation, while at the same time bringing high quality people just buy today. So
hmm Yeah, very exciting. I'm excited to see it. I like a lot of your stuff that you've got on your site, and I've been enjoying your presence on Instagram. It's pretty cool to see, even just like some of the content that you had posted a while back versus kind of what you're posting now. Just the difference in quality in just a short amount of time is pretty cool to see. It's funny, the social media game and the content game is something that when you start a business, you don't necessarily think about that being as such an important part, but it does
Yeah.
become this important part that you all of a sudden have to learn, and you have to, grind through to try to get an understanding of, just little tips and tricks. Do you have any little tips and tricks that you have experienced over the last year that kind of just was a light bulb moment coming on and said, oh, this is making my content that much better?
Oh, I absolutely have some stuff I can share from social. We'll say this. Uh, as I mentioned earlier, I'm 45 years old. So as far as being like socially savvy easily, definitely not my thing. And then not only that, I've always been very robotic or militaristic. So,
Oh yeah.
like I do videos and it's kind of like this. But so over time, I've definitely gotten a lot better at that. But as far
Yeah.
as content goes, like you mentioned, a lot of my earlier stuff, a couple things I was doing wrong. My lighting was terrible. Uh,
Mm.
I was using an older iPhone for a lot of my recordings, and camera just wasn't all that great. So the quality of the videos wasn't fantastic. And then the lighting in my gym is terrible, and like the acoustics are really bad. It's a small
Yeah.
space. I've only got two little lights. So, over time, I was trying microphones, and what I would really tell people is I'm on my fourth microphone, and it is phenomenal, right? So we
Yeah.
talk in the exercise equipment space, home gym space all the time, like cry once, right, man? Just cry one time.
I once buy one.
When
Yep.
but it's the same thing for not even just exercise equipment. So microphone, my fourth one, I finally landed on a really good one. And then as far as recording equipment, I've tried a lot of different things and went to what is a gimbal, which was recommended from a buddy of
Yeah.
mine to purchase. And it's been amazing. So it's the iSteady M6. I might have the letters and stuff not completely right, but making simple changes like making sure you buy a really good piece of equipment that can move along with you in your gym,
Hmm.
zoom in, zoom out, make sure you
Yep.
got your lighting right, a really good microphone for you to use, like drowning out the echo in my home gym now was not an easy process up until getting
Mm.
this. And then
Yeah.
I'd say the most recent one that really was a game changer for me was just like I am right now, I no longer record with the lights on in my gym. I just use a really large ring light in it, so you
Okay.
can see it still looks like I got a light on in here, and that totally flipped a switch on the quality of my videos in my home gym. So
Really? Okay.
that was just something I probably changed maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it's really made a really big difference in the quality of my videos on social. So
Okay. I've,
getting good
I've
at
got my
social
light
has
over here. Yeah. So
nice.
I need to
Uh,
make sure I get my stuff turned off behind me and just have my ring light on.
Yeah. So like getting good at social, man, is a very long process, especially if it's something where you haven't really used done it my whole entire life.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've been a bodybuilder, power lifted, I've been training for 30 years. I've got a
Hmm.
lot of knowledge I like to bring to people on social. I always say it would be great to grow a lot quicker, and just wonder how that is to get people to come and see just somebody who is like I'm a career guy. I have
Yeah.
3 boys at home, other obligations, and work out at home. I have a lot of ways to help people that are in the same boat. They're 30 some odd years old, career, they got kids, and they want to find a way to continue to stay healthy or decide to get fit gym. So I'd love to be able to share with people like how to do that. And I've also from a workout perspective, I do not work out an hour and a half a day. If I
Hmm.
did that, man, my joints, I wouldn't even be able to get out of my bed. Being
Yeah.
45 years old and 30
Yeah.
years of bodybuilding, right? My joints hate me. But so I design My workouts, even I have a couple of free ones on my website that people can kind of check out, and it gives you a
Nice.
little free range and flexibility to pick out your own exercises based on the equipment that you own. It's not an app, so sorry, people. I don't have an app. It's just an Excel doc that
Yeah.
you'll be able to see how it changes and modifies. But I make all my workouts between 40 and 45 minutes
Okay. Nice.
because I work out at the crack of dawn at 4:50 a.m. and I don't have an hour and a half to be able to work out with the
Yeah.
obligations for my family. So that's how it works. Not saying everybody's got to work out at 4:50 in the morning, but you also don't need hour and a half workouts to make progress. I'm 45.
Yeah.
I'm still making progress in my old age here, man. So it can be done. It can be done even less than what I do. So
You're
anyone
not
that
even
thinks
that
you need to
old.
work,
Still calling yourself an old
nah,
man.
no, nah.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
feel old, but man,
yeah. I know
yeah, I
how it
love
goes. I mean,
45.
I'm 35, and I sometimes even feel old, but I wrestled for 22 years, so it was my body's kind of beat up, and my shoulders and hips and neck and stuff like that. So yeah, be making sure that I'm efficiently exercising is important for me too, because I also have
College?
two kids. I got two kids and a business and all that. So what'd you say?
Did you wrestle in college?
I did, yeah.
Where'd you wrestle?
Yeah, so I wrestled. I started wrestling in 1992. I was 4 years old, and then that was kind of the first wrestling practice I went to, and did that all the way through 5 nights a week for 16 years basically, and all the way through high school, and then yeah, I wrestled for Cal State Bakersfield in college.
Okay.
I started out at University of Oregon, but they dropped their wrestling program just shortly
Man.
into my freshman year of college. Yeah, they added baseball, and because of Title IX, they had to drop another men's sport or add two women's sports, and so they decided to drop a a not profitable sport in wrestling, and so they dropped that. And I was there on a full ride and all that stuff, and had to drop out of my letter of intent and find another school, but it worked
That's
out for
too
me.
bad. That's too bad, man,
And
because Oregon's got a sick Sorinex gym.
yes,
Uh,
their
dude,
facilities were
that's,
incredible.
yeah.
I was down there basically the whole summer prior to, well, most of the summer prior to my freshman year, and then just a few weeks into the school year or whatever. And so we got to use all of the facilities, whether it was the football facilities or anything like that. And I mean, everything. It was beautiful, and cold plunge tubs and hot tubs, and all the different equipment and underwater treadmills and everything. It was crazy. And it
Uh,
would have been really cool to be able to experience all of that, but my journey, I'm not upset about my journey at all. I think it taught me
no,
a lot of important lessons when it comes to that. So,
nice. Yeah,
um,
I just asked because I coached wrestling
oh, okay,
for about 5 or 6 years. It was all Pee Wee wrestling, and
nice,
some of the kids I was able to coach in Pee Wee
yeah,
uh, ended up going D1 further on
nice,
in life. Yeah, like one went to Cornell.
very cool.
Like 5 time state champion.
Cool.
Not that any of that's my accolade or that I did anything coaching him past Pee Wee, but
What
just
was his name?
being able to, Hunter Richards.
Oh,
Um,
okay, nice,
yeah, he just got into the Hall of Fame. I'm from Central New York. He just got into the Central New York Hall of Fame, and he wrestled at Cornell for 4 years. And
nice,
no, really good kid, smart kid.
yeah,
Yeah,
got to
he's
be
coaching
smart.
at he's coaching at App State now.
Oh,
So
cool, very
right,
cool.
right, about not too far from me, about an hour and 45 minutes from where I
Yeah,
live. So he's coaching up there now, and a couple other kids that I coached in Pee Wee also went D1 at Campbell down here locally, and then some up in like Binghamton and stuff like that.
nice,
So I've actually coached quite a few kids that went the D1 path again
cool.
because of their own efforts, not mine,
Yeah,
but kind of cool to know what they were able to accomplish in that sport.
yeah, and you
I
were
love
part of that
wrestling.
journey. I mean, yeah, anybody that's part of a journey like that it's really important, because you learn all kinds of stuff growing up
Yeah.
doing sports. It's important. That's awesome. That's really cool. I didn't know you had an affiliation with wrestling or anything like that. So
Well,
that's really
a little bit of affiliation. So yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been coaching. I've been coaching my son at a youth club out here in Vancouver. So it's been really fun. I have to be very laid back with it, because I could easily let myself get really intense and be upset about things, or be, get annoyed that that people aren't picking up things. And it's a different animal coaching, young kids versus coaching, like high school kids or kids that have a little bit of experience. It's really funny to I'm still learning that, because I would say I'm a much better high school coach than I am a Pee Wee wrestling coach or a little kids coach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would say from a coaching perspective, I'd be better on Pee Wee just from a knowledge perspective,
oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say a lot of kids that have been wrestling for many years and then, continue wrestling in high school, I would say they've probably gone beyond my coaching capabilities,
Yeah.
and definitely need some more expertise from a coaching perspective. My oldest son wrestled for a long time and was really good. And I coached him all through Pee Wee. And I know what you're saying when it comes to being intense. That's definitely something I've got a lot. I got a
Those
lot,
wrestling
like,
dads, man. Those wrestling
dude,
dads can get crazy.
say I started off like that, and then I kind of really at some point had a realization of this can't be this way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And not I
It
was
can
never
become
like extreme. I was never like a 10 out of 10. I was like that 7 or 8 out of 10 type of guy. But
yeah.
even I felt like that 7 and 8 was just too much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I grew up with my dad was he was the 7 out of 10 most of the time, but then would sometimes spike up to 10 out of 10 every so
oh
often.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
it
can get to
was,
10 once in a while, but
yeah, yeah, it was, sometimes it would get pretty tough, but for the most part, I made it through no problem. Yeah, that's great. I mean, what's funny is wrestling kind of started my garage gym journey, home gym journey, because, when I was probably 10 years old, 11 years old, the wrestling club that I was going to, they got new mats. And so they cut up their old mats and gave it to some of the wrestlers at the club. And so my dad was like, yeah, we'll take a chunk of the mat. And so we covered our garage. We covered half of our
nice.
garage, a 2-car garage, with a wrestling mat. And so then I had a wrestling mat out there and like a pull-up tower and a treadmill and stuff like that. And so that kind of spurned the home gym workouts, the garage workouts, and then from there, it's just my excitement for working out in the garage versus working out in a big box gym or anything like that is just it's always been much higher at home.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, if I had to drive to a gym to work out, even if it was a 15-minute drive, and that's short
Mhm.
for a lot of
Yep.
people, and then have to do a workout and drive back with having family obligations and 3 kids,
Yeah.
I'd probably be working out 1 day a week.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So the home gym, I wake up in the morning, barely awake, come down, get ready, and walk into my basement and just, go get it. Right. So it's, a lot of people talk about motivation at home, thinking they'll have less motivation.
Mhm.
I think if you have motivation to go to a gym and work out, you have motivation to work out at home. It's
Yep.
just a matter of finding out which one is better for you. And I think that home gyms have come a long way where, for the price of like a year and a half of a box gym membership, uh, you can completely fund a functional home gym. And I would say not even just functional. You can have your rack, your barbell, your bumper plates, your bench, your adjustable dumbbells, and a couple pieces of accessory equipment for the same
Yeah.
price as a year and a half of $160 a month for your box gym. So nothing against box gyms, man. Plenty of box gyms are helping people get healthier and fitter. So nothing wrong with them. All the power to them. Keep
Yeah.
making people better, more fit. But if
Yep.
people struggle with time, and you can reduce your time for working out by 30 minutes or 40 minutes because you don't have to drive somewhere, then a home gym is an absolute amazing solution to that problem.
Yep.
So,
Yep. No, I agree. I think it's I really, yeah, I don't hate on box gyms. It's just not my preferred place to work out. Yeah, working out at home is what's nice. And then, I mean, for me, I've kind of changed the way that I work out too. I've moved from more of a Olympic lifting and kind of CrossFit style workout, functional fitness workout to, well, sorry, not functional fitness, but more of a CrossFit style workout to, and I basically exclusively been doing kettlebells for probably a year and a half now. and
Yeah.
I really enjoy them, and I feel like I'm getting really strong with them, even though I don't do some of these other lifts or anything like that. I can sit down on a bench and rep out, 225 a few times, whereas
Yeah.
I would have to do that weekly before, and it's really interesting to see how just working out, kind of ancillary muscles and stuff like that, it can really make you strong in other aspects too. So
Yeah, and these are good examples of I primarily bodybuild, you're doing kettlebell. Like anyone that tells you there's one way to be fit,
yeah,
man, you need to find someone else for advice because there is not one way to be fit.
no, there's
And
not. Yeah,
so, yeah.
you got to
And
tailor it for yourself. Yeah,
yeah, in whatever way you like it, like you should definitely be trying some things. Like if you've never lifted weights, like I just like to run. I mean, you should
yeah,
of course be giving something to try. But there's a lot of ways to being fit in your life without
Mhm.
it just being one specific thing. Like even like mine's changed. Like I talked about, I was strictly like bodybuilding
Yeah,
and powerlifting for probably a good 10 or 15 years, and I incorporate a lot of kettlebells. If you've noticed, I got those over there.
yep.
4 kettlebells. I do a ton of landmine work. And in fact,
Mhm.
my favorite leg exercises today are all landmine leg exercises
Yeah,
between doing landmine squats, sumo squats. I do a reverse landmine squat. I do straddle lifts and all those types of things using my landmine. And that's just a couple examples. Those are like
hmm
my favorite ones now, man. It's just a good way to get when I want the bar off my back from doing barbell squats. That
yeah,
it's a good way to incorporate some other stuff that I can still push myself as hard as I want to push and have growth. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really, and yeah, and with having a home gym and everything, you can get you can get the equipment that you want, that
yeah,
and tailor it to your workout style and everything. So,
yeah.
um, but man, we could probably talk about fitness and what we do and all the different aspects of that. But I think we should probably wrap this up here. Do you want to go ahead and kind of shout out all of the ways to get a hold of you, get a hold of your products, see you on Instagram or anything like that?
Absolutely. So, Benoit, everybody, Exponent Edge. So, if you want to check out exponentedge.com, I'm on social as Exponent Edge. You can see all the videos of my workout exercises there. Those are probably the two places that I am. I'm on TikTok too, at Exponent Edge. But for whatever reason, I can't grow worth a lick yet. So, I just must not be funky enough or creative enough to grow there. Those are the two
Yeah.
best places to get to me. And if you want to email me, by all means, it's jay@exponentedge.com. And then, hey, check me out on social. Give me a
Yeah.
follow. Give me a DM. I'm going to answer you. So I won't hold back in communicating with you, whether that's a question about working out, my home gym, or exercise equipment. I'm here for you. I'm here to help
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of the LFGRX podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, please don't hesitate to like it, subscribe to us, share it, and so that we can grow this and get just everybody a deeper understanding of microgym businesses and microgyms and the home gym industry and everything. And so, yeah, again, Jay, thank you so much for joining us. We'll make sure we get all your links and everything in the bio of this in the explanation of this episode and everything. And yeah, excited to see where Exponent Edge goes in the future. So
My
thank
man, it was a blast. Glad to be on here. So looking forward to
yeah.
see how everything goes with you guys as well. So maybe there's a micro gym in my future.
Yeah, we'd be excited to get you on board.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.